Waterworks and Lighting Commission meeting to order. First on the agenda is approval with additions or corrections to the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on October 9, 2019.
I move to approve the regular commission meeting minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Okay, John made the motion, Rick second. Any other discussion? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the second order of business is the minutes to the special commission meeting held on October 21st, 2019.
I would move to approve those minutes as submitted.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by John Bergen and seconded by Rick. All in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Number 3, electric rate case on the agenda.
You have an issue paper in front of you, but as we discussed during the budget meetings earlier last month, due to the decreasing electric rates of return, we're requesting the approval to file an application to change electric rates with the Public Service Commission. The last time the utility filed a rate case was in April of 2014, and then it was approved in December of that year. The projected rate of return in 2019 is projected to be at 1.52%, much lower than the utility's authorized rate of 5.75% rate of return. Also, the decision to hire a second tree trimming crew in September 19 will increase operating expenditures by approximately $260,000 a year. This cost is not included in our current cost of service. In addition to the financial aspect of the rate application, the utility will request the PSC to modify or at least look at our on and off peak times to coincide to the actual utility load data, as well as review our street light tariffs and potentially change how the lights are categorized and billed. Overall, the application requests a 5.56% increase in electric revenue, and that's at a 5.5% rate of return that we're requesting. The impacts to the individual customer classes is unknown, as the PSC will prepare the cost of service study and the rate design portion of the rate case. Due to the decreasing rates of wholesale power costs, when the current cost of power is factored into the rate design, the overall impact to customer rates should be less than the 5.56% requested.
Jeff, is there any reason that we're typically authorized for 5.75 that we wouldn't request a match?
The reason they tie that rate of return to the 30-year treasury and then add a couple percentage points to it, the 5.5% that we're going to request is actually higher than the last rate case that was authorized. The last one that the PSC authorized was closer to 5%. Part of our thinking to request the 5.5% rate of return is to also assist in funding some of the underground construction work that we've been talking about doing in upcoming years. So we would put that in at 5.5%. The water rate case that just got approved was at 5.6% is our rate of return for that.
Is there a recommendation that we're making to modify the on and off peak times, or what? How would we be looking to alter that?
We would like the PSC to be open to taking a look at when the utility actually has our peak times.
Okay.
And then modify the on and off
Based
peak
on that.
windows based upon when the utility actually has its peak times.
So you're not asking like for 6 to 6 or something, you're saying to have some flexibility, or?
Well, it probably, yeah, I mean, we would have a set time, but it might be, 10 to 7 or
Okay.
noon to 6 or something,
Okay.
depending on what the data actually
Load,
looks like.
yeah, okay.
Do you know what that is now?
When we peak, or what our time of day rates are?
No.
When we peak?
Yeah.
The majority of our peaks are between 4 and 7 p.m.
Because right now, time of day, you can do what, 7 to 7, 8 to 8, 9 to 9.
Correct.
Those are the 3 options, right?
I would move to that we submit this electric rate case as recommended by Jeff.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion made by John Bergen, seconded by Rick McGann. Is there any other discussion? Any other questions?
Oh, one question in terms of the timing. So from the last one, it was what, April to December? So any prognostication in terms of timing now, or?
Yeah, when I talked to the
Sooner or later?
PSC, it was in October when I talked to them, they are still saying it's a 6-month.
Okay.
Is what they strive to do. It'd probably be a little bit longer, but
Okay.
in the budget we built, we kind of built in about 8 months to get
Okay.
the rate case done.
Okay, then, if there's no other questions, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Okay, the motion carried. Okay, department update, safety committee. I have a question. You reviewed the fall protection program. What does that consist of?
There's programs that OSHA and DSPS say that we have to have in place. Fall protection just happens to be one of them. We have about 10 programs total. And what we've been doing this year, usually it was I would review them, discuss them with Todd and Dale and Jen, get their signatures and be done. This year we've moved to actually reviewing those within our safety committee, getting more employee involvement, getting more employees aware of the safety programs that we have. So this just happened to be that we reviewed the fall protection one for this coming month.
Okay, and fall protection is like keeping your work area.
Oh, no, fall protection has to do with harnesses, lanyards that the
Okay.
linemen are wearing in the buckets,
All
as
right.
well as the rescue equipment that the water department is using
All
for
right.
confined space entries. So
Okay.
every year we train on how to properly use that, proper inspections, the whole deal with.
I kind of thought that's what it was, but I wasn't
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And I take it you have to inspect the equipment
Have to
on a
inspect the-
program that not totally worn out.
Yep, basic inspection is pre-use inspection. Every single time they use it, they should be looking at it. Then every year for the training, I like to go through a documented inspection for all of the equipment that we have.
So it is documented when they do inspect it.
This annual, we do it annually, we actually just had it today. We have all the guys bring in their equipment and we sit down and I have documented inspections that we go through and just to make sure we have something documented, some good documentation for that. And then, as I said, they're also instructed that they should be inspecting it pre-use every single time they use it.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Line superintendent report?
Josh, I'm not sure, or maybe Scott would know, what's the project called where they're building the apartments across from Centralia? Does that have a
Well,
name?
I don't know if the specific name, but it's senior housing.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's 48 apartments, underground parking.
Is that a project on the radar screen? I don't know
It's
that.
done.
Oh, it's done?
Yeah, all we have to do is tap on the secondaries, but yeah,
Okay.
the transformer's there.
Okay.
Yep. From the electric side of it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. And then completed city airport job, what was that?
They built a big new hangar and a couple new buildings, we had to kind of redo it.
Okay.
I was just interested, you mentioned you're replacing poles. Like, I was concerned about the street lighting, and I'm thankful and I'm glad that the Water and Light replaced the street lights before Halloween, and there wouldn't be any accidents, and I think it was great. I had many comments from my constituents about that. But there's some poles now that might be behind homes. You probably know the poles from working with your men on the highway or streets and so forth. But if an individual has a problem or concern with a pole in their backyard, or do they just call it in here?
They can,
And-
otherwise we test them.
Yeah, just like with the street light. I know one, their pole is really slanted and it's old, and I think the wires are holding it up type of thing, and the constituents called me and I said, well, call into the Water and Light and just put it on their list. They can inspect it. Maybe it shouldn't be changed and maybe it should, but, okay.
Any other questions or comments of Josh? If not, the water department report?
The level seems a lot more appropriate this month, doesn't it? Did you see that? The water level, 14.1.
I don't think Dale was here last month.
No, I haven't.
When we,
It was
there
erroneous
was like about a
number.
3-inch difference from the.
Well, it was like a foot, wasn't it, or
I don't
something?
know.
Yeah, it was a foot.
It was like a foot difference month to month, and I was like,
What happened is we actually put the numbers in the report wrong of a different monitoring well.
Okay.
It wasn't the same one that was consistent with all the other reports, so the wrong data entry.
okay.
These hydrants that don't drain naturally, is that like a specific design that is faulty, or is it location related? What's the situation there?
We do have hydrants over time where you get, the drain plug gets corroded with soil, sediments, whatever, they need to be pumped out. Also, we have some hydrants in town where through the DNR or whatever, say you can't have a draining hydrant, you have to have a seal so you don't get groundwater infiltration. So we go out and pump them out as well to make sure they don't freeze over the course of winter time. They've been used during the summer or something. So it's just a normal annual preventive maintenance and so forth.
So what kind of a situation do you have where you are not allowed to have a drain? You mentioned the DNR.
Let's say, for example, if the soil had gasoline or something in it, they don't want that coming back into the hydrant to be a possible cross-connection situation. So it's for contamination, so we want to get rid of that opportunity.
So it's areas that you know are contaminated.
Any other questions? If not, customer support. Supervisor report?
It's nice to see the continuing work with the landlord association.
It's really nice to see low receivables. Excellent. On this water tax, is there a pattern to this? Are there certain situations that are repeat offenders? In other words, the landlord or business owner or householder continually lets this go to the tax roll?
We only tax roll inactive accounts, so if somebody moves out and the bill goes unpaid, then the water and sewer charges are sent to the tax roll. The landlord has the opportunity to pay that. We notify them on a monthly basis, so they're well aware of this by the time the tax roll comes in October.
The last 5 years, the amount we have tax roll has steadily decreased.
Yeah, I see the last 2 years of significant improvement.
I think a lot of that has to do with the office's communication with the landlords and making sure they're all on board with it and what the process is.
Do the landlords communicate with their residents that, you know, when you're moving, that you have to, it's your duty to pay your water bill off? And
Some landlords come in and they will garnish the security deposit if there is a security deposit left, and they'll choose to pay that off, the two services that way. They don't have anything outstanding in October. So
they
many do that.
They do try to be proactive with that?
Yes, very much.
Okay, good.
What's an example of a great idea to implement in the upcoming year?
When we have a new person, one of the ideas that I brought back is when we have any new customers come into the area, not a customer that's moved from one residence to the other, but we have a lot of information that I'd like to send them, our payment options, our rates, Other information regarding paying their bill when our office is open. So I want to kind of put together a packet to send to any new customers every month.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you. Director of Finance report.
Insurance options for cybersecurity.
Yeah, right now, we're covered pretty good from the liability side of things. If there was a breach that we knew there was an issue, you know, there's, I believe, $5 million of coverage there under liability. Where we're lacking a little bit would be the forensic side of things, and to make, with people coming in to make sure that whatever the event was is indeed out of your servers and everything. You can get insurance on that side of things, which I think we only have a $5,000 to $10,000 coverage right now. And when we were talking to our agent, he said that could easily be 6 figures for those people to come in and take care of things. So, and the insurance itself was pretty minimal cost. So he was kind of putting some proposals together and giving some stuff to us. But that was the big side of things, would be just kind of the business, making sure everything's okay.
Jeff, your statement on the financial reports about the water utility operating revenue, and I guess the city reimburses us at the end of the year for the collection with the software.
They do, yeah, so they make a monthly payment, but it's part of the year-end entries is to credit all those expense accounts
Also, you don't credit that till the end?
till the end of the year, so that's why you'll see kind of those adjustments.
Can I ask you why? Is that one of those accounting things?
It's just kind of one of those, it's how we've done it and it works fine, but I
Okay.
mean, we can do the monthly adjustments.
No, I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me, I just
Sure.
wonder why.
I guess, you know, at some point, you know, if you're still trying to compare comparative year over year, if we make that change now, then things will look
Okay,
a lot
yeah.
different next
Well,
year,
that's a
so it's
good
kind of one of those
point.
things that just keeps carrying over.
Yeah, okay. I thought they would pay on a month-to-month basis.
They do,
Because
yeah.
you get a bill monthly for
Right.
those services.
Mhm.
Nice number for power cost adjustment, 842,000 plus.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The water budget, looks like we're gonna be under.
For revenue?
Yeah.
We are gonna be under for revenue primarily, well, 2 reasons. 1, because it was a wetter year than we budgeted, and 2, because the rate case took longer than we anticipated getting completed.
A lot
Yeah.
from when we had it built into the budget anyway.
Any other questions of Jim? City Information Systems Administrator report.
Matt, can you put Honeywell, Elster, Connexo to iView integration into layman's terms?
We have 2 systems. We have the meter reading system, which is Honeywell, it's Elster, but Honeywell owns Elster now.
Okay,
They bought them out. That's why Honeywell / Elster put it together.
okay,
I'll just be calling it Honeywell in the future.
okay.
And their software package is called Connexo. That's the name of the software package.
Okay.
And then iView is NISC. That's all of our accounting software and billing software. And their package is called iView. So those are the 2 software packages. Right now, we're just trying to get them integrated a little closer. So we're trying to be able to do meter readings and all that kind of manual, some of the stuff we do manually
Yeah.
now with importing reports and different things. We're trying to get that automated.
Okay.
So we're trying to get these two together and to help us automate some of that stuff.
Okay. That helps things.
Any other questions? If not, conservation manager report.
Very nice open house. I got a pack of the LEDs, so that was good too.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
Thank you, yeah. Luckily, we had decent weather, usually brings more people in.
And 420, it's great. I was surprised at the kids, I bought 3.
How's that?
For my kids. But yeah, I think that's a great deal, and it should do that often, maybe next year, a year after that.
See this, going to underground for Sorensen Cranberry. Does that represent risks in terms of work that is done in and around the cranberry bogs? Will we have to pay more attention where they might be excavating for water?
I would think less risk, because
It's not underground anymore. That's canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. But to answer your question, though, it would probably be less risk, because the lines being overhead, they're probably more likely to hit something that's energized. But they decided now not to do that. So
From a
I
cost
think
perspective,
Sean wrote this because he was on vacation a little
I don't know.
earlier, and then they changed their mind. So,
Right, just last week it was nixed.
yeah.
Okay.
I take it they would mark a line anyways on the top of cranberry.
Well, yeah, like everybody,
Because
they'd call it
anybody-
locates too if they were to, if it was underground before they were doing any excavating, so.
If a company has backhoes, I would be very leery about it, because they're gonna be using it. you know.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, Director of Engineering, Electric Operations.
The October 26th power outage, is that one of those unknowns?
It is an unknown,
Okay.
yeah, so we had, right during the Badger football game,
Oh.
we lost part of the west side and came in and ran the lines, couldn't find any known problem, but the projected relays showed that there actually was a problem. 500 amps at 15 kV, and after you check everything out, if you can't actually find it, the test is basically turn it back on and see what happens, and that's what we did, so, yeah.
And is that filter plant MCC, is that done now, or?
Completely done, and so
Okay.
if anybody would like a tour at some point, we can arrange that. It was very nice. We'll do the other half next year, and then we'll be all caught up with motor control center replacement.
Any other questions? If not, General Manager report.
What was the $5,000 reduction?
Something we decided to just go ahead and put in O&M expense.
Okay.
Okay.
That's kind of cryptic. What are you guys talking about?
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So with that 3% rate reduction, do you have an idea what that'll translate into customers? that kind of feeds into your comment too about they're not gonna see that 5.6 or whatever.
It does, yeah, right now it's probably running between $45,000 and $50,000 a month credit at 3%. so.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't show up for that meeting, so it's pretty easy to get you elected to the glue chairmanship.
Yes. It's right here. I couldn't push back.
Do they usually elect chairman when they don't show up? Is that how you get to be the chairman? Don't show up?
No, that's how we elected the secretary, though. I've been there at my previous other elections. I just was with my daughters at that time, so.
Yeah, just thought it was appropriate to.
Can you
get a little jab?
Can you elaborate a little bit on the Public Utility Institute discussed agendas for electric vehicle program? What is that reference?
Yes, they've been doing, well, actually, this year was their first electric vehicle program, and it was very well attended, actually. A lot of even the PSC commissioners attended and what have you. So it was just a discussion on what to potentially shore that program up for next year, what, you know, added things they could do to make it even better, but it was well attended. And then the natural gas one was voted to postpone that for a year. There's not a whole lot of natural gas issues bouncing around right now, so there wasn't enough to make a full conference.
But this conference did have the presentation on providing power for electric vehicles.
Okay.
It's becoming a more popular thing to do.
We will definitely cross that bridge as when needed.
Do you know, have we seen any locally? Because I would imagine, I know people that have Teslas or Volts and.
Nothing yet on our system, and they kind of alluded to that in that presentation, that cold weather is a little harsher on those vehicles, so. But I'm sure as technology improves, we'll start seeing it more.
Did Quick Trip put one in when they put in the new Quick Trip here?
No.
So,
I see the one in Plover has one.
There's one in Midstate too.
yeah.
Yeah, they actually.
More than one now. They just
that's
put another one in
solar-
Marshfield.
Solar generated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Kinda.
running on.
Kinda. And you supplement a little?
Supplement it, yeah.
Probably today would be some supplement.
Any other questions? If not, review accounts payable.
Look at it somewhere here.
When we receive mutual aid from utilities, how is that cost determined?
They bill us according to their policies.
Okay.
Typically, it's a fully loaded rate with their benefits and everything incorporated into it, so they send us the invoice and we
Okay.
pay it.
This line item for September storm and sewer reimbursement and engineering services.
That's the typical storm and sanitary sewer reimbursement. That's the majority of that payment. The rest of it was engineering services that the city did on East Grand project.
Okay, and so engineering services for waterworks and lighting.
Correct.
And where the
For the
mains would be.
water side of the business.
Okay. Yeah, I would, the engineering services piece was something different. Yeah.
questions, comments? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I'll second that.
Okay, John and Rick made the motion in second. On the agreement, please say aye.
Aye.